Hello, I am Joe McDonald and this is Big Mac's Battle Blog, taking it back to the old school today with my British Army desert uniform, back from the days where we had different uniform. I always like the tropical greens as well. They were just plain olive green uniform. That was a nice one, but yeah, DPM, ugly. Everyone wears multicam now, but I wish they'd bring this back. So everything's going well. Got me laddo here with me. He's in a good mood. Been out for a walk just now and had his regular steak rib breakfast. God, I spoil him. So yeah, I thought I'd talk about a few things. Went to Mykolaiv the other day and ended up spending just over $1,000 of your donation money on some components for drones that are going to make them go further. That's as much detail as I go into, but they should make them go further in a very effective way, which is really good. It's the sort of thing that's like I end up spending a lot of money on and can't show you. And even if I did, unless you were like a real electronics tech drone nerd, it'd mean nothing to you anyway. You know, frankly, it kind of means nothing to me. The guys who build the things and do the more technological tell me we need these things, and I go, yeah, okay. And we buy them, and then the drone works better, and I get pats on the back, you know. But it's good stuff. It means we've got a longer arm, you know. So that's all very good. Ended up spending a bunch more money on tools when we were up there. Got some more high quality boxes, you know, kind of thing that you know, things like this. That's a DJI box, but boxes of that kind of nature, because you know the drones come with one, but then you know there's bombs that need to be protected, antenna arrays, laptops, batteries, all kinds of stuff that needs to be protected from moisture and getting banged around in the back of the cart, especially the bombs. You know, I mean, when I first came here, we were going to work with an open cardboard box full of impact detonated bombs, and that's just not good. But you know, you fight with the tools you have, not with the tools you want. So gradually we improve things, but again, it's pretty boring stuff, really. You know, to physically show. It's like, oh, and we've got more boxes. It's like it's not a drone, is it? It's not anything sexy. But you know, nevertheless, it makes us better at our jobs and means that the equipment, like drones, that I do spend your money on, is better protected against things. While I was up at this place where we got the components from, they also make drones there, and our big Baba Yaga, which is an adapted agricultural drone, was getting this stuff fitted onto it, and there are these other really big drones there, and I just said, how much are one of them? You know, it looks significantly bigger and beefier than the one we're using. They went, oh, they're about 200. I went, what, like 200,000 grivna? And they went, no, like 200,000 pounds, British pounds. And apparently, the British government sent a bunch of these things over as part of the aid deals. And they're from a company called Mallory Aerospace. And they're a bag of fucking wank. They're completely shit. They can't even handle, they struggle with normal atmospheric interference, like higher levels of magnetism and stuff. And when you get a lot of sand in the air, which we do down here, because Europe's biggest desert is just across the river from us, they struggle with that, and jamming. Before they've even really hit the bubble, they start to struggle. So £200,000 for a drone that doesn't fucking work. The guys are fixing them with Chinese components that is going to make them be able to handle things. But yeah, just another sign. Just because it comes from a company that has the word defence or aerospace in the title doesn't mean it's superior to what a bunch of Ukrainians can make in an anonymous workshop in Ukraine with open market parts. Think about that. Defence companies and people in the government who purchase these sort of things, they were telling me at the same time these switchblade drones, there's something like 45,000-50,000 pounds a shot. Those things, again, you can buy an awful lot of FPVs for that, and a lot of the time the launcher units don't work. So yeah, like, I'd rather have the money to spend for Ukraine to build its own FPVs than I would than one of them, quite frankly. So yeah, blah 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 blah. What else do I have to talk about? Well, we've had some problems. The Landy I got off Harley. That's officially like to bypass the amount of paperwork we had to do, because every battalion and every company is only allocated so many vehicles, and we need more vehicles than that. That officially became my vehicle, so I just gave it to my mate Cola, who's one of the pilots in our unit, and he had a problem at home, and he got like a 4-day pass to go back and see his family, and on the way back the fucking thing broke down, and the actual plug where you plug in the analytic machine is like broken, so you can't plug in the analytic machine. So that's a bit annoying, because that was a free motor, but I spent quite a bit of money on the ferry and the diesel, and getting someone to to drive it back down from Kiev and all that to Kherson, and now I've got potentially a motor that might not be able to be fixed. We'll see. We're going to find out through the course of this week. With that, what I'm currently trying to raise money for, like my top priority, is making sure that we've got enough vehicles. Our company is allowed 8 4x4s, which is not a lot of vehicles, considering we potentially could have up to like 40 people, like 10, fucking 8 to 9 drone teams, and then the command element, that isn't enough vehicles for us all to do our stuff. So I'm hopefully working with Ukraine Aid Ops and Zero Line and a charity called Netherlands for Ukraine, and also my British volunteers, to basically get a load of vehicles, whether they're British or European, doesn't really matter, as long as the diesel, manual transmission, ideally a pickup that can seat 4-5 people, always more like 4 when you're talking big burly soldiers in all their armour and kit. And if not a pickup, then something with a big boot, like the Land Rover's nice, but it's also a bit small to take 4 soldiers and all their kit on a drone mission. But it is good for driving around and doing the sapper side of the job and stuff like that. It's pretty good for that. It's also quick, but whatever, that's what we're aiming for. And obviously, the charities, like, support for Ukraine is kind of people's finances, people's mental fatigue with the war, whatever, is kind of seems to be dropping off a little bit. So the sort of arrangement I've made with these charities is that I'll put a couple of €1,000, like €2,000 per vehicle, into getting these vehicles to us, and these will become the official property of the battalion, which is why I'm going to be arguing very hard that they stay with the drone company and not just go to other people who think they deserve a vehicle. There can be more vehicles for them in the future, but right now I'm focused on my own company. So that's what I'm sort of fundraising for at the moment. With any luck, there should be hopefully before Christmas, we might get 4 vehicles. Hopefully, all things being well. And whether they're from Britain or the UK or Europe, don't know. But yeah, that's a big focus for me, because at the end of the day, these charities, it is good to try and meet them a little bit of the way on the road, because vehicles cost more. You want the vehicle to be purchased, serviced. It needs some insurance to get from wherever it is to the front. Like in Western Ukraine, Central Ukraine, you still need car insurance. Once you're at the front, insurance is completely fucking invalid anyway. And because we're in the army, if we crash into someone, then they deal with those problems for us, in theory. So yeah, but it needs insurance. It needs to be serviced. That might require some parts. It needs fuel, oil, fluids. Hopefully, nice new tyres, or tyres in good nick, or even some spare wheels and tyres for it. It needs all that kind of stuff. A lick of green paint, perhaps. So yeah, we're focusing on that kind of thing right now. I've spent a lot of money. I like the Lindy Beige interview. Hello to new subscribers from that. Some of you have been very generous with that, and I've had some really decent donations recently. But there's always stuff I'm catching up on. Like I've bought a couple of sets of night vision. I need really to buy another 6 sets of night vision, which would come to 12 plus 6 times 3, 18. That'd come to like €14,800 for 6 sets of PVS 14s that are made by a guy we know in Estonia. And we've got one, and it works brilliantly. And it's a very good price. But that's so each and every one of our drone squad commanders, and also the chief medic, who isn't me yet but might become me, what the battalion chief medic needs a set of night vision, because he's the person, if we get wounded, who will be driving down to pick us up at the moment. The company commander needs a set of night vision. In fact, all the company commanders need a set of sight vision. There should, in a perfect world, all soldiers would have one. But the best we can hope for is individual squad commanders get one. So essentially, so they can drive at night. Or for the guys down in the trenches, whoever's on guard can have a set of night vision that they rotate over. At the moment, I'm just hoping to work on 6 more, so our drone unit can have a set of night vision per commander. So that's another expense. So I've got to raise 8,000 something euro to try and get these cars over. I've got to raise 14,000 euro to get the night vision over, and then also we've got to work on getting jammers, because at the moment we don't have any. I have commissioned a few, but they don't have as it started off that if you had 3 modules on a jammer, that it was great. Then it was like 6 modules on a jammer. Now they're talking about 9 for the guys who are up in the really hot places like Kursk. And, we need to prepare for that. So, but the people who build my jammers, build the jammers in England, are very good people. And the prices they're offering are significantly cheaper than what a jammer is available for in Ukraine. So hopefully I am now putting them and some Ukrainian organizations together, and they'll be able to help Ukraine in a much more effective way, doing that kind of work, and we'll have more jammers. But yeah, for now, something that'll just knock FPVs out the air, or most signalled FPVs, while we're driving to and from work would be perfect, you know. But yeah, we're always striving to improve. So yeah, the need for stuff is ongoing. It's been a bit yeah, it's been fairly about the same in Kershaw at the moment. We've had quite a lot of flying air bombs coming into the city recently. I think it's one of the things I've sort of noticed with the Russians is if we have a success, they suddenly do a load of vengeance bombing. So we blew up now in the last like 10 days, they've blown up 4 major Russian ammo dumps. One incredibly big one, you know, that was measured on the Richter scale, and 3 less big ones, but still very significant. But nevertheless, the immediate Russian response into that is to just stick a load of airstrikes into wherever they can hit up and down the line. So yeah, it is a bit of a worry, you know, because there's no if you're out, you know, if you're not in a concrete bunker and one of those things hits within a couple of 100 meters for you, that's you. There's no running from the fucking thing. You won't hear it come in. So yeah, what can you do about it? You know, if you do hear it come in, you wouldn't know which way to run anyway. So yeah, you know, it's this added, I'm very used to and familiar with how to respond to mortar and rocket and artillery and tank fire now. Like, I'm very, very used to that. But yeah, you know, the fabs are not, the flying air bombs and air strikes are not good, not fun. So yeah, and you know, they get dropped from 20, 30, 40 kilometers away. So there's no, it's only like Patriots and stuff that can engage targets at that distance, you know, and they drop the bomb and then they're immediately going back. So, you know, it's, yeah, it's a worry. It is a worry. But anyway, yeah, apparently, you know, I was sort of checking the comments on a few things, and some people sent me some screenshots of Reddit and some articles, and, you know, so yeah, rumours of my death have been greatly exaggerated. A few people were trying to say they'd heard I died in a missile strike like a couple of weeks ago. It's like, no, I was on holiday, mate. That's why I was quiet for a bit. I was just trying, I spent most of my holiday doing stuff to benefit the battalion as opposed to resting and relaxing and stuff like that. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's better to do that than to waste my time having fun, because, yeah, you know, I'm trying to keep myself and my friends alive and win the war at the end of the day. But yeah, that's why yeah, I went quiet for a bit, because I was on holiday. Anyway, bit of a rambly one, but I thought I should just make some content while I've got a moment. I've got a fancy new camera soon. And I've got one that I have it. I've just got to learn how to use it, and hopefully, like, the quality of content should improve somewhat soon. But yeah, anyway, so it's goodbye from me, Joe McDonald, Big Mac Spotter Blog, and as always, to our Russian and Vatnik listeners, Idi Nahoy Zalupa.